Hello, hello, traveler of the internet. Welcome to this humble little upstart audioblog. My name is Byron, director of sorts of TheAlphaGeeks. And on behalf of the rest of the crew, I'd like to thank you ever so much for tuning in. Enjoy. Just as promised, 1 week, 1 video. I'm glad to be back. And I know I keep saying it, but this is seriously becoming one of the highlights of my week. I guess that means I lead a kind of boring life. But I guess I'm okay with that? I don't know, we'll work on it. Oh, and before I forget, just to preface this video, if things sound a little different today, or I seem a little less articulate than the last video, that's because I'm trying a new recording setup. I didn't exactly like the way the last one turned out. I kind of scripted most of the lines, and I really want to work at not having something at hand to use. It's kind of like a crutch. So, yeah, you're gonna get more stream of consciousness kind of blogs from me from now on. Hopefully they'll still turn out okay. But enough with the general upkeep. I'm on a schedule and I need to make this video pretty quick. But that's okay because today's topic is near and dear to my heart. So I shouldn't have any problems talking about this in length. Last week I shared some thoughts on creativity, the first of the TheAlphaGeeks' 3 core values. This week, however, I'm going to be fleshing out our second core value, as designated on our Patreon page. As a quick reminder, here is what that says. We believe that a dash of creativity, competence, and community is the best formula for success. Holding us to these 3 standards is what we expect of anyone who decides to support us. Obviously then, this video is about competence. Let's get this underway. So, competence. What is it? Well, as far as I'm concerned, competence as a concept is closely related to the concept of skill. Whereas skill deals with the ability to do something, competence deals with the actual performance. So, for example, a person may be skilled at playing the piano, but unless they are actually using the skill, considerations of competence are irrelevant. From there, you can kind of figure out why the core value is competence as opposed to skill. If you are competent, then you must gain a skill. But stopping there is not good enough for me. I do not want people to just gain skills, I want them to gain skills to use. A skill that neither you nor I am using is useless to the both of us. And from a business perspective, if I'm going to have employees who are building skills over time, I want them to be able to use those skills to create better products so that the consumer gets better things, and of course, when the consumers get better things, hopefully they'll buy more, and if they buy more, then I can pay the people who are using their skills more. It's a win-win-win! I get a vehicle to do all kinds of cool shit, consumers get all kinds of goodies, and employees obviously get paid a living. What this ultimately means in the macro analysis of the business, though, is that the culture at the TheAlphaGeeks that I want to, how should we say, cultivate, is one of self-improvement and application. And I also don't just mean that in the sense of creating a product for the company, or other kinds of company functions. Noteworthy to say is that competence without an end goal is meaningless. You have to be competent at something. And that means that if the people who work for me aren't willing to dream about what they want to master and offer to the world, then I can't live up to this value. This company is literally gonna run on freaking dreams, baby, and I will do literally everything in my power to make sure that those dreams can come true. Within reason, of course. From a more tangible business perspective, though, the value of competence is also really important in production. In the last video, I touched a little bit on how there's a very fast conversion rate in digital media production. And one of the problems that companies tend to run into is that they trade effectiveness for efficiency. But this is a mistake, because if you're going to be the ultimate competent being, you have to have both. And if you can't have both, I would argue that it's better to have effectiveness than efficiency. The reason for this approach is very simple. There is so much media created that is just garbage on a daily basis, that if you're not going to make something that is going to have you stand out, you're just going to be lost in the sea of mediocrity. People will respect you a lot more if you show that you're willing to put the time and effort into something of high quality, even if it takes a little longer. That being said, one of the worst things that you could do as a company is to build up people's expectations only to let them down. So if you start something, you should finish it, and you should do so in a timely manner. This is because a lot of consumer business relations are predicated on the tacit agreement that two parties are going to exchange something of value. Competence, then, is one of those values that is imperative to a business because it's also something that facilitates keeping your end of the bargain. In other words, it builds trust, and if you have trust, people are way more willing to do business with you. So in my point of view, building an overwhelmingly positive reputation with the general public, and also with people in your industry, is one of those immaterial assets that I think businesses tend to downplay, and do so to their detriment. Likewise, there's a lot of security in knowing that the people that you've hired actually know what the hell they're doing. Frankly, I don't think I would be able to stand working in a company where the people who are there simply are incapable of thinking for themselves, and generally show no capacity to get things done on time or demonstrate their full potential. And that's kind of the point behind the name of this company. If we aren't head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd, you have lied by working for this enterprise and bearing its name. We are the AlphaGeeks. And while I'm well aware that right now we are not the alphas of the digital marketplace, I promise you we will get there, even if I have to drag everyone up there with me. This is my dream. When you think the AlphaGeeks, I want you to think badass mofos who can do it all. Nothing short of that will make me satisfied. And on that note, I think it's about time to wrap things up. So, thanks for watching if you made it all the way to the end. Once again, this is Byron from the AlphaGeeks, and I do hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.